Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to cilinixfxcapital. Hope you're all doing great. Hope you're having a good week so far, and welcome to this new video right here on Ethereum. We're going to do a full update on Ethereum, basically talking about what to expect over the course of today, but also in the short term. So let's say the rest of the week, potentially even going into next week. We've seen some positive price action over the course of today, although there are some caveats which I think you need to know about specifically for Ethereum. And there's some, in general, market fundamentally, some dynamics going on which are not necessarily too positive for Ethereum. Since the crash we had Friday the 10th of October, obviously most of you remember that. It was a horrible moment in the markets. I have been relatively optimistic about Ethereum in the higher time frames, right? And I still am, right? On the higher time frames, I think Ethereum is just holding the bottom of the range right here. And I think it's most likely, although when is a very good question, I think it's most likely that we will be able to hold this general support level around 3600, which has been the final line of defense after that crash as well. After that, we started to deviate a little bit higher, and we've held the key support level at 3700 a little bit more often. But ultimately, when we're talking about raw support, 3600, 3500 is still our major support. I think we'll be able to hold that. Even if we get some bad news, like yesterday we got some new, I would argue, tariff escalation. Even if we get that, I do think based on the reaction we had yesterday that we will be able to hold that level. And that ultimately we will be able to get a move up to the top of, well, at least the point of control right here at 4500. And from there we'll see again. Now when that happens depends very much on how the crypto market is able to recover after that crash we had Friday the 10th of October. It seems like real things broke during that crash, but it also depends on the fundamentals. All right, it also depends on gold, volatility index. When can we actually expect unrest in the financial markets to decrease back to the same levels where it was 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? Those are the circumstances we want for Ethereum to move up. And then outside of that, when we talk a little bit more short term, like the price action for Ethereum has been pretty good over the course of today. You can see we got some sort of a minor liquidation spike here below the value area low, so below the range lows. We got good reaction from that. We left some imbalances, but that's not necessarily a problem. Maybe we'll test those. You should be ready for that, right? So we have an imbalance right here at 3780. We have an imbalance right here at 3850. I think the imbalance at 3850, which is $40 below the current price, will be tested. The imbalance below there, I'm not too certain. But the thing is that Ethereum against Bitcoin is not outperforming. ETH BTC is actually relatively bearish, I would argue, on the lower time frames. So even though this is pretty good recovery, it's fully dependent on what Bitcoin does. All right, and Bitcoin at this, so I mean, I would very much encourage you to check out my Bitcoin video I made this morning. In short, Bitcoin really needs to get a strong reaction at 108.5 and 109.2. If it's able to get that, then Bitcoin is able to move up higher. And because Ethereum at this point of time is so reliant on Bitcoin, there's no specific momentum for Ethereum, not in volume, not fundamentally. That very much matters. And on Bitcoin, I now have a relatively bullish bias. I'm not overly optimistic or bullish on Bitcoin, to be fair, but I do think we have a chance to rally a bit higher, and that's why, in combination with the technicals and my high time frame bullish bias on Ethereum, that's why I think we will be able to fill this imbalance we have right here around 3930, fill some of those imbalances to the downsides. I would think that we would pull back into 3840 and 3820, and from there resume our move back up to the top of the range right here at 4100. But I've said this earlier this week already as well when we tested that level. To break out of the resistance we have between 4100 and 4200, you need a lot of momentum. All right, and at this point of time, that's not there. All right, so I think we can rally up higher right here with the given pullbacks, but breaking above that level, I don't think it's a possibility for now. We need to see either a fundamental shift or a very, very strong Bitcoin, which I think is hard to argue at this point of time already. So those are my thoughts. I think that's what you need to know right now regarding the markets. So if you do have any questions, let me know down in the comments. But for now, have a great day. Take care in these markets as well. And I'll see you all in my next videos. Bye.